This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we were discussing about Azure Recovery Services Vault, and also we've discussed about a VM level backup and files and folder level backup. So we have to discuss about uh, disaster recovery and also the backup center for disk backup. So I will take up those two topics later. So today I'll be discussing one small topic, which is Azure Key Vault. Okay. So let me write here what is Azure Key Vault, and then we'll be performing the labs, and we call it as AKV. Okay. So just like our banking system, there will be lockers where you'll be opening through the banks, and you'll be depositing, you'll be storing, or you'll be securing your cash or ornaments or certificates in the lockers through the banking system, because those are very crucial and those are valuable for you personally to store securely, and you'll be paying charges to the lockers to have to manage it through the banks. Similarly, if you have any of the secured passwords, certificates with regards to your organization, documents with regards to your organization, if you want to store in a secure place in Azure, we have a feature called Azure Key Vault. Okay, I'll repeat. Azure Key Vault is used to store passwords, certificates with regards to any of your applications, or if you have any important documents, you can store there, and whatever you feel is confidential and that can be saved in Azure Key Vault. Okay, so this is required because you cannot remember all the passwords. Let's say if you have got 100 servers, if it is a single username and password for all the 100 machines, it is possible to remember and you can log in using that. If you have hundreds of passwords for multiple systems at multiple levels, you cannot remember, and also you cannot store on your local laptop, right? There might be chances those passwords, or even let's say for our labs, we have done point to site connectivity and we have created a couple of certificates, and those certificates should be stored securely with multi-level access. Okay, so using this Azure Key Vault, we can achieve that security to store the passwords. And for some systems, let me show the diagrams how it will be. I'm referring through this documentation, official documentation, right? You can see here secrets management, key management. Key is nothing but, even for storage accounts, you have a security key or access keys which you can store on your key vault. Okay, so you can centralize application passwords, you can securely store secrets and keys, and you can also all the data, whoever is accessing the passwords, it can be linked to storage account, everything can be done. Okay, so there are tutorials as well. If you observe here, even to log into your virtual machine, you can pass username and password through Key Vault. Okay, so you can also use these configurations how to, these are the tutorials. Use Azure Key Vault with Azure virtual machine. Okay, so there are different scripts that you can execute, and these are available directly from the Microsoft official documentation. Okay, so let's come back to the portal. How you can, it is very simple thing. After the creation of Azure Key Vault, even though you are the contributor or the owner of the subscription, still you need Azure Key Vault level access to see the passwords and to see the secrets which are there on that Key Vault. Okay, so now let me search for Azure Key Vault. Here it is. People will call it as AKV. However, Here you can see only key vaults. And see the logo of this one. It is with key symbol uh, included in circle. Okay. Now create a key vault. So this is the additional component where any organization will look for to have the safe and secure passwords on this Azure platform. So I'm going to create a new resource group. Let's say AKVRG01 Azure Key Vault Resource Group 01. Key Vault name demo AKV01. This is the key vault name that I'm giving, and it is already in use. So in this East US region, this name is already in use. So I have to plan for something different. So I'm giving 01X. Okay. And the region I'm going with East US and pricing tier is standard. Okay. So there is one more plan which is like a premium plan. So here it is hardware based backend keys. So if you have a direct connection to this key vault where you can leverage this HSM managed keys as well. If you want to see that what is HSM managed key, let's see here. Okay, so these are some protocols which you can use to have high level security keys. So if you want to understand more, let me open the documentation. See here, I was referring hardware security module. Okay, so hardware dependent based keys can also be managed using this Azure Key Vault. So in order to use such kind of hardware security model or module, you have to have various dependencies option, and you have to follow all these metrics to get that a premium mode of HSM based keys. But for normal storage of passwords and certificates, HSM is not required. So most of the customers will be using this standard pricing tier. Okay. Now here you can see soft delete. It means by default, you can see here soft delete protection will automatically be enabled. అంటే ఏంటంటే ఎవరైనా ఒక యూజర్ నేమ్ పాస్వర్డ్ డిలీట్ చేశారనుకో, it is going to be there for 90 days. It depends on how many days that you want to retain, because there are chances that many of the customers has complained to Microsoft. If you delete the key, there is no option to recover. So that's the reason Microsoft has enabled soft delete protection. Okay. So how many days to retain the deleted vaults? Even the deleted vaults can be retained. Entire key vault can be retained for 90 days if you want. If I go for SE here, the minimum time frame is 7 to 90 days. Once it has been set, it cannot be changed or removed. ఓకే, సో ఒకవేళ కీ వాల్ని డిలీట్ చేసినా కూడా డిఫాల్ట్గా 7 days వరకు ఉంటుంది అనమాట. ఓకే, నౌ యూ కెన్ సీ హియర్ purge protection. So purging means a permanent deletion. So if you want to make sure that to enable purge protection, అంటే ఏంటి, ఈ రోజు డిలీట్ చేశాను, ఆ డిలీట్ చేసినవన్నీ సాఫ్ట్ డిలీట్ ఆప్షన్ నుండి నేను రికవర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. అట్లా లేదు, సాఫ్ట్ డిలీట్ ఆప్షన్లో కూడా నేను డిలీట్ చేసేది పర్మనెంట్. సో అక్కడ డిలీట్ చేస్తే ఇంకా నాకు రిస్టోర్ చేయడానికి ఆప్షన్ ఉండదు. దానికోసం ఏం చేస్తాను, ఐ కెన్ గో ఫర్ enable purge protection. Okay, even after the deletion, if you have this purge protection, you cannot delete the deleted passwords. అంటే ఏంటంటే సింపుల్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తాను. ఇప్పుడు నా దగ్గర ఒక ఫైల్ ఉంది నా ల్యాప్టాప్లో, నేను డిలీట్ చేసి ఏమవుతుంది, రీసైకిల్ బిన్కి వెళ్తుంది. అండ్ రీసైకిల్ బిన్లో అక్కడ నుండి డిలీట్ చేస్తే పూర్తిగా డిలీట్ అయిపోతుంది. ఒకవేళ రీసైకిల్ బిన్ లో ఉంటే కనుక నేను రీస్టోర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఇది సేమ్ ఆప్షన్. రీసైకిల్ బిన్ లో ఉన్నప్పుడు అక్కడ నుండి ఎవరు డిలీట్ చేయకుండా నేను ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నా. ఓకే, ఇట్ మీన్స్ ఐఎమ్ ప్రొటెక్టింగ్ రీసైకిల్ బిన్ టు హ్యావ్ మై డేటా for the retention period which is of 7 days based on this time. లేదు, I don't want to have that protection even after deleting, then you can go for disabling purge protection. Okay, so now I'm going with this enable and we'll see how those options will work after the creation. So here we have got access policy. It means even though I am creating, I'll be the owner of this one, and there will be some other users who will be acting as a owners or contributors. Let's say I am the owner, I am creating this one, I've got full access because my ID is added here in the permissions section. Now if you want to get access to this key vault, I have to add your username here in this section. Okay, so without adding anything here in this, no one will be able to access until unless they have permissions. That is the security level. Subscription level full permissions ఉండొచ్చు, and you have full permissions to create virtual machines and to delete virtual machines, but key vault permissions చాలా different అన్నమాట. Okay, just like that you can enter into your bank, but if you want to go to a locker which is there in locker rooms, you have to use you have to use bank official ID to enter into the locker room, and there after you enter into the locker room you will be having one key to your locker. You have to open using that key. Same way here, you can create a key vault and you can see what vault is there, but you cannot access it directly until unless you have special permissions on that. Okay, now ఇక్కడ మూడు ఆప్షన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఎనేబుల్ యాక్సెస్ టు అనేది త్రీ ఆప్షన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. We will discuss about this later. So permission model, you can define vault access policy or Azure role-based access control. It means, if you remember, for each and every service that we have discussed, we have a concept called access control, right? Let me come back to this. Let's see what it is. Okay, here we have got storage account, right? For each and every service in Azure, we have got a concept called access control. అంటే ఏంటంటే we have got, we'll be calling this as a role-based access control, our back. Okay, సో ఈ ఆప్షన్స్ యూజ్ చేసుకుని ఏం చేస్తాం, ఎవరికైతే పర్మిషన్స్ కావాలో రీడర్ రోలా, కంట్రిబ్యూటర్ రోలా, లేకపోతే ఓనర్ రోలా అని చెప్పేసి ఇస్తాం అనమాట, రైట్? సేమ్ వే ఫర్ కీ వాల్ట్ వీ హ్యావ్ గాట్ టూ ఆప్షన్స్. ఇక్కడ మనకు స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్ ఒకే ఆప్షన్ ఉంది, ఇక్కడ ఏంటి టూ ఆప్షన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. యాక్సెస్ పాలసీ యూజ్ చేస్తావా, లేకపోతే ఇన్బిల్ట్ ద డిఫాల్ట్ రోల్ బేస్డ్ యాక్సెస్ కంట్రోల్ యూజ్ చేస్తావా? If I go with role based access control, see here the options which we were having that under access policy has been disabled, and there are no other options to see under it. If I use this role based access control, whoever are contributors or whoever has got permissions to access this key vault using role based access control, they will be able to access the keys. It means they will be able to access the passwords which are stored under the key vault. Now let's go with this option itself. Okay, vault access policy model will be having advanced controls to secure your data in the key vault. Now in this key vault, as I said, you can store three types of information. One is keys, and then secrets, and then certificates. Keys అంటే encryption keys or storage level access keys which are lengthier. Here we have got option called access keys under storage account. Okay, so where is that access keys? Yeah, here it is. We have got access keys here. If you want to store this kind of lengthier keys, then it is recommended to go for key permissions. And if you want to store a secrets are nothing but the passwords. You can use this secret options. And for certificates, you can go for certificates. Even under this key, along with the access keys, you can also use RSA tokens. We will see that as well. Now, you can restrict the permissions at user level. See here, you cannot give full permissions for all the users, right? So let's say I want to give permissions to one of the user only to read the passwords. I don't want to give options to delete, because if someone tries to delete, if they have permissions and if there is no protection, I'll be losing very crucial credentials, right? I'll be disabling this feature to access the list of permissions or to access the keys from the users. I mean, from the key vault. Okay. So now for me, I'm enabling all the permissions. Similarly, you also have the permissions for secrets. Okay. Get is nothing but to retrieve the data. List is to provide the list of information that is there on the subscription key vault. Delete, recover, backup, restore. So most of the cases, all the users will have only get and list permissions, because they just wanted to see the data, I mean to see the password which is there on the key vault. Otherwise, they don't want to delete anything. Okay. Now, even since I am the admin, I am giving full permissions at the time of creation itself. Okay. Same options for certificate permissions. So based on the data type that you are going to store, there are different types of permissions. Certificate permissions, here you can have more options: import, restore, manage contacts, get certificate authorities, set certificate authorities, delete, backup. So there are many options that you can use. Okay. Now, at the moment, I've got only my user ID. If I make it like add access policy, see here, you can still go for. So for some users, you can manage only, you can give permissions only for the keys. And for some users, you can go for only secrets. And for some users, you can go for key and secret. So you can have multiple combinations also. It is not necessary to provide all the permissions for all the users. Okay. Let's say I want only for secret management. And for secret management, I have to give permissions only for these secrets. See here, remaining all options are disabled. Only these options are selected. If I go with certificate management, only certificate permissions are enabled. Okay. And here you can see select principal. It means you have to select the user who, like the one that you are giving access is the one that you need to select from this console. Select principal, none selected, and now it will display all the users if you have in your Active Directory. From this console it will be displayed. Okay. So if you have any user IDs that you need to enable permissions, you can add from this console. At the moment, we don't have any user IDs in this section. Okay. I'm going to the next option because we don't have any users. We cannot enable permissions. If you have the users, this is the way to enable, and these are the options to choose permissions. Okay. Close. And now networking. So networking is also crucial because I cannot enable Azure Key Vault to get accessed through all the networks because of security. Okay, let's say if I work from my personal laptop, if it is accessible, then I can copy all the passwords and I can use it for some other purposes. Instead, what I can do is I can restrict the users and I can restrict all the, this keyword permissions to be accessed only through specific virtual networks within Azure, right? You can have such kind of privileges also using this connectivity method. Okay, most of the organizations will be using this option because they don't want to provide access to all the networks for their users to access passwords, which is very much needed for the business. Okay, but for now I'm going with all networks. If I want to go with selected networks, it will display options where you need to choose the virtual networks that you need enable connections to this virtual networks. Otherwise, since I don't have any existing virtual networks, I'm going with all networks for our lab. But for enterprises, even after the creation of Key Vault also, you can go for this permissions that you can enable for networks. Okay, now choose all networks, review and create, and validation passed. There is only one access policy because we have got only one user that I have enabled, and deleted vault will be retained for 7 days. Purge protection is enabled. It means even if you delete the password, it will be there based on your retention period. Okay, now review and create. So this connectivity is accessible from all the networks. Review and create. Validation passed. Deployment in progress. So let's wait for a minute to get it created. Right. So deployment passed, succeeded. And let's go back to Key Vault. So here you can see, click on this Key Vault. And if you try to access the keys from your login, even though you're the contributor, you will not be able to access this Key Vault. You can see the Key Vault on your subscription, but once you click on the Key Vault, you will see permissions error. Okay, see here, we have got overview page, and just like the other services, the resource group name, location, subscription ID, and subscription name. We also have directory ID and vault URL. So there are common options like access control, tags, activity log, and these are the common settings which we have already discussed. Now, I am directly going through this keys. If not, I'm going through secrets and then I'll come back to the keys. From the settings section, click on secrets. At the moment, we don't have any secrets available here in this secrets section. So I'm going to generate a couple of secrets here, or you can also import secrets. So click on this generate import now. So let's say certificate. If you want to upload a password, upload a certificate, you can use this. But we are here using a keys, and I'm trying to give, let's say, admin username. Okay, uh, I'll use superadmin is the username, and the value that I am giving here is Azure at the rate 123. So this is the password for this username, and now I don't want to remember this value every time. And likewise, I have hundreds of usernames and password where I need to save in keywords so that I can use it whenever I want instead of storing in some unsecured locations. Okay, so content type is optional. It means you can write the content type, let's say non-prod app servers login. So it means if I use this content type, it will be easy for me to filter it out whenever I need it for the specific username and password instead of searching here and there out of multiple credentials or multiple secrets. Okay, now I've given some password and I know that password what it is. And for the people who are not aware of this, they have to have the access to this keyword, and then they can enable this value and they can see that. Now set activation date. So when do you want to get this activated, or expiration date as well, because there will be password policies in organizations where you need to change every 30 days or 90 days or 120 days. There will be some policies, or even for 1 year. So you can set activation date as today, and then expiration date as, let's say, for 2 years. Here it is showing by default. Let me make it as uh, 1 year, or one moment, 2023, let's say till August 2023. I can go for this option. So once this expiration date it meets, then we will be getting the alerts to change the password. Because of various security controls that the organizations have, we have to follow the standards to enable this password policy as well. Okay, but for now I am not enabling this expiration date. Let's go with open username and password. It means it is valid for lifetime, let's assume, for now. And you can disable the user accounts as well. Okay, instead of deleting, you can disable and then you can enable whenever you want, so that if it is disabled, no one will be able to see the passwords. If it is enabled, they can see it. So click on create. It is simple thing where you are saving the data here in this keyword. Now you have got super admin credentials stored here, and there is no expiration date. Let me try to create one more secret with expiration date. And now let's say this is uh, a reader, and the secret I'm giving here is I'm giving some random password. Set activation date, expiration date, I'm going with the default numbers. I'm not changing anything here with the timestamp, and create. Now you can see for the other user which we have created as a reader, it has got expiration date, and I did not give the type of the username or password because I have left it as blank. Okay, for the other one we have made it like non-prod app service login, which is easy to identify. Now click on this super admin, and this is the current version. Click on this. See here, there is an option called secret value. And before I come to this point, so whenever you generate a password, it will be stored in the format of version controls. అంటే ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు ఒక పాస్వర్డ్ క్రియేట్ చేసావు, దట్ విల్ బి కాల్డ్ as version 1. నౌ పాత పాస్వర్డ్ ని చేంజ్ చేసి కొత్త పాస్వర్డ్ క్రియేట్ చేసావు, నౌ దట్ విల్ బి కాల్డ్ as version 2. సో ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ పాస్వర్డ్స్ కి ఎక్స్టెన్షన్ కింద version 2, version 3 వర్షన్ 4 అని యాడ్ అవుతూ ఉంటాయి అనమాట. అండ్ ఎప్పుడు నువ్వు పాస్వర్డ్స్ చేంజ్ చేస్తూ వెళ్ళే ఆ టైంలో ఎవ్రీ టైమ్ వెన్ ఎవర్ యూ చేంజ్ it will be added with the timestamp, and you can still refer the old usernames and passwords as well. So the history is needed for the auditing purposes and for various other controls. Still, you have to manage all of this. Now you can see here there is a version, and this version number is something in alphanumeric formation. It means there are numbers and letters formed to make a version. Okay, we cannot remember this, so you can go for this. Let's say click on this, and now using this option you can also set activation date and expiry date. Okay, you can modify this content type. Now let's see the password, what is there in it, what I have given at the time of creation. This is the password I have given, Azure at the rate 123 at the time of this secret creation for super admin. I've copied. Now you can close this. That's it. Even again, if I click on this, it will be showing us hidden value. Show secret value, it will show the value, and you can hide the secret value if you don't want to see that as it is. Okay, so this is how you can manage secrets. Now let's say I want to generate one more version of this password. I don't want to use the current version, so let's go with new version, and this time username is same, but I'm trying to provide the a new value here for this secret. Okay, since there is a new version for the existing username, consider a new password for the existing username. Username remains the same, but the password value you can give the same existing password, but for change I'm giving demo at the rate 123. Okay, new value which one I'm not setting up, activation date or expiration date, and then create. See here, as and when I create the current version, the previous version will become older version, and also the version ID also changed. Always recommended to use current version username and password. Okay, it will have the latest passwords which you can leverage. See here, show the secret value, and this is the value that I have given, demo at the rate 123. Okay, close it, and then delete option. So we were discussing more about protection of the keys. Even if someone deletes accidentally, we have a feature called purge protection, and also the retention period for entire key vault. So let me try to delete this, and we'll see what we can achieve out of that. See here, are you sure that you want to delete this resource? And soft delete is enabled for this key vault. You can restore your deleted secret until the retention period. So let's click on yes. Now we have got only one username, and the other username has been deleted. If I want to restore the deleted password, I have an option called manage deleted secrets, which you can see here in this console. Click on this manage deleted secrets. See here. Okay, recover or purge protection is enabled for all items within this key vault. Okay, and it is still not showing any secret which we have deleted just now. Let me refresh this page. Manage deleted secrets. Yeah, now you can see that. Okay, so click on this. See here, at the time of key vault creation we have enabled purge protection. అంటే ఏంటంటే ఆల్రెడీ డిలీట్ అయిన దాన్ని మళ్ళీ డిలీట్ చేసేస్తే ఏమవుతుందంటే పర్మనెంట్ డిలీట్ అయిపోతుంది. జస్ట్ లైక్ ఐ గివ్ ఎన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, మీరు డిలీట్ చేస్తారు ఒక ఫైల్, నార్మల్గా డిలీట్ చేస్తారు, ఆ ఫైల్ వచ్చి రీసైకిల్ బిన్లో స్టోర్ అవుతుంది. సో రీసైకిల్ బిన్లోకి వెళ్ళి కూడా డిలీట్ చేస్తే ఏమవుతుంది, అది పర్మనెంట్గా డిలీట్ అవుతుంది. సేమ్ ఆప్షన్ హియర్, రీసైకిల్ బిన్లోకి వెళ్ళి డిలీట్ అవ్వకుండా డిసేబుల్ చేశాను ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ, అంటే ఏంటి, పర్జ్ ప్రొటెక్షన్ చేశాను. అండ్ దట్స్ ద రీజన్ దిస్ ఆప్షన్ ఈస్ disabled. Okay, you have only option to recover. And ఎప్పటి వరకు రికవర్ చేయొచ్చు, 1 week టైం ఉంది నీకు, 8+7 till August 15th. There is a time because at the time of creation of key vault we have set the default value for 7 days, so that's the reason it is showing us till this point. After 7 days this deleted secret is going to get deleted permanently. Okay, it will not be visible and you will not be able to recover it. Now I can recover this using this feature, and let me refresh here the console. Still that recovery option is not showing here. Okay, let me refresh again. Right, so let's give some time to this one to load. It has to load immediately, but it is taking time. Any question here?
No, I think it takes 10 to 20 seconds.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Let it load. So this is how you're going to generate passwords to store in the key vault for the first time, and you can go for multiple versions, and if you want to see any of its previous versions you can still see the data as part of this secrets. Now let's go to keys. Ikkada same options, generate or import, manage keys, restore backup, everything will be there. Generate or import, so you might have seen that there will be RSA tokens. So I am not sure if you have used it or not, but let me show you. ఇట్లాంటి డివైస్ ఇచ్చేవాళ్ళు ఎప్పుడు, ఒక 3-4 years ముందు, ఇప్పుడు కూడా ఉన్నాయి ఇవి. అంటే ఏంటంటే నువ్వు ఏదైనా అప్లికేషన్ లాగిన్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు, ఎస్పెషల్లీ దిస్ విల్ బి యూజ్డ్ ఇన్ బ్యాంకింగ్ సిస్టమ్స్ ఫర్ అడిషనల్ సెక్యూరిటీ. సో ఈ టోకన్ నీ దగ్గర ఉంటుందన్నమాట. యూజర్ నేమ్ పాస్వర్డ్ నువ్వేం చేయాలి, ఎంటర్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఇక్కడ every 60 seconds or every 30 seconds a new code will be generated and this device will be with you. And for each and every user who has got more complex application accesses for their business systems, they will have this type of secure ID. So the token will be generated and a code generate అవుతుందన్నమాట. Okay, so you have to key in this code also to log into the application, otherwise it is not going to work. Like RSA security, this is the hardware token. సో మనం ఏమంటామంటే RSA token అంటారు. This is the most popular security token in the world. Okay, now similarly we also have ping ID. This is one of the software based authentication mechanism where you will be installing this RSA app or the ping identification app in your mobile. సో యాప్ ఓపెన్ చేయగానే ఆ కోడ్ ఎవ్రీ 30 seconds చేంజ్ అవుతూ ఉంటుంది అనమాట. సో నా మొబైల్లో కూడా పింగ్ ఐడి ఉంది ఫర్ అఫిషియల్ subscription logins I will be using for some of the customers. సో వాళ్ళు నా ఐడిని వాళ్ళ సర్వర్స్ లో, ఐ మీన్ ఈ RSA సెక్యూరిటీ సర్వర్స్ లో ఎనేబుల్ చేసింటారు అనమాట. సో అట్లాంటి కీస్ కూడా ఈవెన్ ఐ థింక్ ఐవ్ గాట్ RSA సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇన్ మై సిస్టమ్ నో. ఇప్పుడు ఈ మధ్యకాలంలో ఏమైందంటే ఈ హార్డ్వేర్ డివైసెస్ ఎవరు జోబులో పెట్టుకొని తిరగాలి అంటే కష్టం అవుతుంది కదా, దానికోసం ఏం చేశారంటే దే హవ్ గాట్ యాప్స్, సెక్యూర్ ఐడి యాప్స్, and based on those applications organizations will be generating unique IDs for each and every user whoever needs access tokens. Tokens are nothing but the passwords, or I would say the keys, or you can say that it is a secured number, whatever you call. Okay, it will be generated on your mobile device itself, or you can also install RSA software on your laptop. Okay, so you can search for Windows 10, even for Windows 11. ఇది ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసుకున్నా మీకు పెద్ద ఉపయోగం ఏమి ఉండదు, ఎందుకంటే మీరు యూస్ చేయాలి అంటే యూ హ్యావ్ టు గెట్ ఇట్ your ID registered from your organization's servers. Otherwise, there is no point in installing this software on your system. Now, అట్లాంటి టోకన్స్ అజూర్ కీవర్డ్ యూస్ చేసి జనరేట్ చేయాలి, ఇందులో సెక్యూర్డ్ గా నేను సేవ్ చేసుకోవాలి అంటే కనుక then you can go for this keyword keys generate import, and you should know what type of key that you are trying to import into this keyword. Okay, you can import your existing files. అంటే ఏంటంటే జనరల్గా ఆర్ఎస్ఏ ఐడీస్ ఎలా జనరేట్ అవుతాయంటే, లెట్స్ నీకు ఆర్ఎస్ఏ ఐడి కావాలి, ఆర్ఎస్ఏ టోకెన్ కావాలి, అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తావు, ఆర్ఎస్ఏ టీమ్కి రిక్వెస్ట్ పెట్టుకుంటావు. సో రిక్వెస్ట్ పెట్టుకుంటే వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారు, నీ యూజర్ ఐడి నేమ్ మీద లెట్స్ ఏ xyz@gmail.com అనుకుందాం, ఆ యూజర్ ఐడి నువ్వు యూజ్ చేస్తున్నావు అప్లికేషన్ లాగిన్ కోసం. సో ఆ యూజర్ ఐడికి లింక్ చేసి ఒక టోకన్ జనరేట్ చేస్తారు అనమాట, అంటే ఒక ఫైల్ జనరేట్ చేస్తారు. ఓకే, ఆ ఫైల్ జనరేట్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఆ ఫైల్ని నీకు సెండ్ చేస్తారు. సో నీ యూజర్ ఐడితో లాగిన్ అయ్యి ఆ ఫైల్ని ఇంపోర్ట్ చేసుకోవాలి. ఇంపోర్ట్ చేసుకున్న తర్వాత కొన్ని సెట్టింగ్స్ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి, దాన్ని ఫాలో అవ్వాలి. అండ్ ఫాలో అయిన తర్వాత ఇట్లాంటి కోడ్స్ ర్యాండమ్గా మీకు జనరేట్ అవుతూ ఉంటాయి అనమాట. ఎవ్రీ 30 సెకండ్స్, ఎవ్రీ 60 సెకండ్స్ జనరేట్ అవుతూ ఉంటాయి. సో లాగిన్ అయినప్పుడు ఆ కోడ్ ఆ టైంలో ఏదైతే జనరేట్ అయిందో అది ఇవ్వాలి. తర్వాత ఇది ఆఫ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. అండ్ బ్యాక్ ఎండ్లో రన్ అవుతూనే ఉంటాయి అనమాట, చేంజ్ అవుతూనే ఉంటాయి. వెన్ ఎవర్ యూఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు లాగిన్, you have to give that credentials using this RSA token. So you can bring that file also to this key vault where you can store here, and token will be generated using this key vault itself. Instead of installing it in your laptop, or instead of using it in uh, using a hardware token, you can go for directly to this key vault. But for now, we don't have any file to upload here to import a key. Okay, but remember, there is an option to have your key import services into this section. Otherwise, using these keys, you can go for your normal storage access key to save, or all that storage access keys can be stored using secrets, because this is exclusively for RSA tokens and elliptic curve tokens. You can see here elliptic curve. Let's see here elliptic, and these are no, this is not elliptic curve images. I mean, these are the right images, but these are some uh, cryptography. So there are crypto tokens which you can use for this elliptic curve token. So there are protocols like 256-bit, 384, 521, and the encryption methodology that they are using. For RSA, we have got 2048-bit encryption, 3072, which are much secured. Okay, and the most popular key service in the world is RSA token and a ping identity. Okay, ping ID. So I'm not generating any key. Even after you generate a key, it will still be the same process as we have seen under the secrets, to see the value and to see the hidden value and to see the recovered keys and to see the deleted keys. Everything can be used and managed this as like secrets. Okay, now you can see as it has taken time, as we have restored secrets earlier, you can see that secret value is here for super admin. Okay, and after restoration you still have both the versions, not only the latest version, you still have two versions to see the data out of your recovery services or Azure Key Vault username. Okay, let me go back to the certificates. So from the certificate section, still you'll be having the same options: generate or import, restore backup, manage deleted certificates, certificate contacts, and authorities. If you recall, for point to site connectivity, we have created a certificate, that is a root certificate and child certificate. Similarly, for the enterprises, even for managing this website like HTTPS secure protocol, you still need SSL certificate. Okay, so if you want to have such kind of certificates to be stored securely, then you can leverage a key vault using this feature, certificates. Okay, generate or import. So you can import here. It means already certificate మీ దగ్గర ఉంది, అది ఇక్కడ అప్లోడ్ చేసి అండ్ ఆ సర్టిఫికేట్ పాస్వర్డ్ ఏమైనా ఇక్కడ టైప్ చేసి సేవ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఓకే, లేదు నేను జనరేట్ చేయాలి సర్టిఫికేట్ అంటే లెట్ మీ ట్రై టు జనరేట్ వన్ సర్టిఫికేట్ హియర్. ఓకే, లెట్స్ సే P2S root certificate. సో మనం పాయింట్ సెట్ చేసాం కదా, సేమ్ నేమ్ ఇచ్చి చేస్తున్నా, సెల్ఫ్ సైన్ సర్టిఫికేట్, ఎస్, అండ్ సర్టిఫికేట్ నేమ్ CN is equal to I need to make it like, let's say, P2S August certificate. This is the certificate name I have given. See here, based on this name it will get created, P2S August certificate. What is the DNS names? If you want to link any of the URL to this certificate, you can link. I'm not giving any DNS name here. And the validity period, so by default it is taking 12 months. If you want to make that certificate to be valid for 2 years, let's make it 24 months. You should provide this in months, not in years. Okay, let's make it as 24. And do you want to automatically renew this certificate, or do you want to get an email whenever there is a threshold value of 80% of the time? Let's say 24 months. సో 20 months వచ్చినప్పుడు నాకు ఒక మెయిల్ రావాలి, ఏమని, ఈ సర్టిఫికేట్ ఎక్స్పైర్ అవుతుంది, రెన్యూ చేసుకోండి అని నాకు మెయిల్ రావాలి. సో ఐ కెన్ సెట్ email all the contacts at given percentage of lifetime. So whenever there is a threshold value of 80% out of this 24 months, then I need to get alert. Or I can make it still like 95% or 92%, whatever that I want. ఆ టైంకి నాకు మెయిల్ రావాలి. But it is always recommended to have maximum time frame so that I can work on the certificate renewals without any much pressure and which without any much issues. Okay, let's make it like 75%. So 75% వచ్చినప్పుడు ఆ టైం ఫ్రేమ్ లో నాకు మెయిల్ రావాలి. లేదు, I can go for 1 month. So certificate needs to get valid only for 1 month, then I need to get an email. If you want to still configure advanced policy, this is optional. You can go for these options. Okay, ప్రైవేట్ కీ కావాలంటే ప్రైవేట్ కీ. ఇవన్నీ కూడా మనం ఏం చేసాం, ఎక్కడ పాయింట్ టు సైట్ లో సర్టిఫికేట్ జనరేట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏం చేసాం, ఆ కమాండ్ లైన్ లో ఆ స్క్రిప్ట్ లో ఇచ్చామన్నమాట. ఆ స్క్రిప్ట్ ఏంటి అని మనకు తెలియదు, బట్ ఇక్కడ ఏంటి, గ్రాఫికల్ గా కన్సోల్ లో యూజ్ అవుతుంది అనమాట. ఐ మీన్ ఆప్షన్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఏ ఆప్షన్ కావాలో అది యూజ్ చేసుకొని సర్టిఫికేట్ జనరేట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, అండ్ దెన్ ఆ సర్టిఫికేట్ ని మీ అప్లికేషన్స్ కి యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. సిమిలర్లీ ఇక్కడ మనం ఎలాగైతే జనరేట్ చేస్తున్నాము, Same set of certificates you can generate using third-party tools also. There are hundreds of third-party tools which you can generate without any commands or without any scripts. But you need to have the license or you need to purchase those tools to utilize for certificate generation. You don't need to install anything on your system. You can still use online subscriptions or online services to generate this kind of certificates. Okay, so I'm not modifying anything advanced here. It is just the inbuilt options. Click on OK and create certificate. Let's see what we get out of this certificate creation. Certificate has been created. So the expiry date is 8th September. Okay, because I've given at this time of creation as only 1 month. So in progress, failed or cancelled. Let me refresh. And now the certificate has been created. So click on this certificate and click on this certificate again. You can download these certificates. మనం ఏదైతే సర్టిఫికేట్ క్రియేట్ చేసాం కదా ఇంతకుముందు ఎక్కడ స్క్రిప్ట్ యూస్ చేసి అవన్నీ ఎక్కడ స్టోర్ అయ్యాయి సర్టిఫికేట్ మేనేజర్లో స్టోర్ అయ్యాయి అనమాట. సో ఆ సర్టిఫికేట్స్ అన్నీ కూడా ఇక్కడ పర్సనల్లో కానీ ఇక్కడ చూసారా పీటీఎస్ రూట్ అని ఇవన్నీ ఉన్నాయి. I can delete all these certificates. Okay, these are not required for me because we have deleted all the VPN connections and these are extra for us now. So if you want to download any of the certificates, just click on the format that you want. Download PFX, download, and download certificate, and see here. Okay, so for this certificate there is a private key as well. Downloads, let me go here, and if I want to install that certificate I have to provide the password. I don't know which password is enabled for this. Pass private key. Where is that private key? Let me see here. Serial number. One moment. Make sure you save the file somewhere secure. This will download a certificate file which may contain a private key without password protection. Okay. Next. Next. Okay, there is no password. Okay. Even it was asking the private key, but there is no private key for that. సో నేను ఇక్కడ డౌన్లోడ్ చేసి ఇంపోర్ట్ చేసి ఇన్స్టాల్ చేశాను అనమాట. సి హియర్ ఆ సర్టిఫికేట్ ఇక్కడ ఇన్స్టాల్ అయింది అనమాట ఆ సిస్టంలో. ఓకే, మీరు స్క్రిప్ట్స్ కోసం వరీ అవుతుంటే సర్టిఫికేట్ ఎలా జనరేట్ చేయాలని చెప్పేసి దిస్ ఇస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద ఆప్షన్ దట్ యూ కెన్ యూస్ టు జనరేట్ సర్టిఫికేట్స్ ఫర్ యువర్ point to site connections. Not only for point to site, anytime whenever you want to have the passwords, certificates, you can generate using this simple console for certificate generation. Okay, now ఆ సర్టిఫికేట్ లో డేటా ఏముంది చూడాలి అంటే యూ కెన్ ఓపెన్ దిస్ విత్ నోట్ ప్యాడ్, ఓపెన్ విత్ చూస్ అనదర్ యాప్ అండ్ దెన్ మోర్ యాప్స్, నోట్ ప్యాడ్. ఓకే, this is in encrypted mode, so I have to export that into a child format where I can use, let me open this one. ఇంకొక సర్టిఫికేట్ చేసాం కదా వేరే ఫార్మాట్ లో, అది క్లియర్ గా కనిపిస్తుంది అనమాట. సో ఫర్ దిస్ PFX format, which is private key enabled certificate, I have to export that again to see the data so that I can use it for my point to site connection. Okay, let me show you that one as well, how to export once again, as we know already. Export, next, and I'm not exporting with private key, and this is disabled by default. Next, base 64, next, and browse it where you want to save, desktops, sorry, and I'm giving this name as this certificate, save, next. Export is successful. Now open the certificate with notepad. Yes, Do you recall this? We have copied this data and pasted in point to set VPN connection, if you recall that now. Okay, so a point to set good usage. Similarly, you can use it for multiple purposes, and I am deleting this certificate now. It means we have got three options like secrets for password storage, certificates for certificate storage, and keys for RSA tokens to consume using a secured service called Azure Key Vault. ఓకే, సో ఇంకా వేరే ఆప్షన్స్ ఉన్నాయి ఇక్కడ. యాక్సెస్ పాలసీస్ అంటే ఏంటి? పర్మిషన్స్ ఎవరికైనా ఇవ్వాలి ఆఫ్టర్ ద క్రియేషన్ ఆఫ్ కీ వాల్ట్ అంటే కనుక దెన్ యూ కెన్ కమ్ బ్యాక్ టు దిస్ సెక్షన్, యాడ్ యాక్సెస్ పాలసీ, అండ్ పర్మిషన్స్ దేనికి కావాలి? సీక్రెట్స్ కా, కీస్ కా, సర్టిఫికేట్స్ కా. లేదు, ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు హ్యావ్ ఫర్ ఆల్ ద త్రీ components, then select this one and choose the level of permissions. Does everyone need access to this key vault with full permissions? Definitely no. You have to define the permissions categories. For readers, one type of permissions, for owners, one type of permissions, so that they can have a control on this key vault. Okay, so networking కూడా same option like key vault create చేసేటప్పుడు డిస్కస్ చేసాం కదా. If you want to allow access only to the selected networks, then you go for this selected networks and allow the virtual networks. And if you want to allow access for all the networks, you go for this all networks. Otherwise, no, for security connections, for security conditions. Now, and this option we have seen, this will give you the recommendations, and there are no much options we can discuss at the moment, because most of the options apart from this keys, secrets, and certificates are already covered. Like monitoring, we have got alerts. Even for this key vault, okay, ఎవరు యాక్సెస్ చేశారు నాకు అలర్ట్ రావాలి, ఎవరైనా డిలీట్ చేస్తే నాకు అలర్ట్ రావాలి. So you can set all such kind of alerts using this alerts metrics and diagnostic settings as well. Logs ఇంకా డిస్కస్ చేయలేదు. When we discuss about that log analytics workspace, it will also have more options to customize your alerts. Okay, we have got automation, we have seen that options as well earlier, and resource health support request, which is a common option for most of the services. Okay, so I'll pause here for a minute